Hello everyone, my name is Jacob Schultz. I'm a recent graduate of the University of Chicago in East Asian Languages and Civilizations. This is the first of my Start Speaking Mandarin in 20 Minutes video series, with each video being less than 20 minutes. In each one, you'll learn how to speak and use more complicated grammar. The purpose of these videos is to allow people with limited experience in learning a foreign language, specifically East Asian languages, to acquire and start speaking them relatively quickly. This is the first of my Learn Mandarin in 20 Minutes series. I also have one for learning Japanese. So, without further ado, let's begin. Mandarin is a tonal language. This means that each word has a tone associated with it. So, for example, ma is different than ma. These are completely different words, and if you don't say them properly, people will have trouble understanding you. It's not like learning a Western language, where even if you pronounce the word incorrectly, there's a pretty big chance that someone will be able to understand you. In tonal languages, the sound of the word plus the tone must be produced almost perfectly, or no one will be able to understand you. So for this reason, we're going to begin with the vowels. There are only 6 vowels in Mandarin. We're going to be learning the 6 vowels, each with first tone. Within this video, you'll learn quickly the difference between each of these tones. Now, first the vowels. A, O, I, U, Y. A, O, I, U, Y. A, O, I, U, Y. Notice how each sound is produced with the same tone. This is very important because, as you'll learn, tones are the only way that different meanings are produced in Mandarin and other tonal languages as well. Let's go one more time. A, O, I, U, Y. A, O, I, U, Y. If you want, pause the video and try replicating the sounds of the vowels. See if you can make them as close to mine as possible. Now we're going to learn the tones. There are 4 tones in Mandarin. This makes it relatively easier than other tonal languages to acquire, but it's still important that you learn how to produce them properly. Listen to the sound ma being associated with each of the 4 tones. Ma, 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 ma. Ma, 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 ma. Ma, 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 ma. Ma, 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 ma. Notice the difference between the 4 tones. How would you describe the difference between them? Which ones seem similar? Which ones seem the hardest to tell apart? Ma, 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 ma. The tones are produced by adding the tone to the entire consonant and vowel together. Notice how this is done, with the different vowels. Ma, 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 ma. Mo, 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 mo. Mo, 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 mo. Me, me, me. Mu, 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 mu. Me, 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 me. See how each reproduction of the tone is the same each time. It is helpful to use the starting flat tone, ma, to center yourself. Each tone comes from the first flat tone. Now you're going to try it. Try reproducing the 4 tones with the sound ma. Ma, 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 ma. Ma, 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 ma. Let's take each one at a time. Ma, 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 ma. At this point, you're getting a general sense of how the tones operate. You also have a good sense of how the vowels sound. Let's go through the vowels and tones one more time, and then you're going to start learning words. A, O, I, U, U. Ma, mo, mo, mi, mu, mu. Ma, 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 ma. Notice the difference between the second and third tones. It's very important that you notice the difference between the two of them. Second tone, ma. Third tone, ma. Notice with third tone, you descend before rising. Ma. The tones will always be the same. If you can produce them properly, you can speak Mandarin. Ma, 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 ma. Now, let's start learning Mandarin words. First, you're going to learn how to say you. Ni, 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 ni. What tone does ni have? Notice how it is spelled with the pinyin. That's the Latin alphabet applied to Chinese sounds. Notice the tone mark that's above the I. Ni, ni. That means you. Ni, ni. Now you're going to learn how to say good. Hao, hao, hao. What tone does hao have applied to it? Notice how ni and hao both have the same tone applied to them. The tone is reproduced the same way each time. Now you know how to say ni, you, and hao, good. Well, it turns out that if you put those two words together, it becomes a phrase that most people are familiar with. Ni hao, ni hao, ni hao. Ni hao means hello. Notice how the first tone that I'm producing for ni seems slightly different. That's because when two words, both with third tone, are next to each other, the first one of them gets cut in half. This allows you to enter into the second word much more easily. This is important to learn at the beginning because a lot of people who are first learning how to speak Mandarin have difficulty putting tones next to each other. But with my method, you learn how to do this from the beginning. 你好，你好，你好. Notice how I do not say 你好. While this isn't incorrect, it's cumbersome and difficult to produce. Try saying hello. 你好，你好. Now you're going to learn how to say, how are you? And to do this, all you need to learn is one more word. And that word is ma. 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 Notice how I'm not applying any tone to the sound ma. That's because I'm applying something called neutral tone to it. You'll be learning more about this later. So, to say, how are you, you say, 你好吗? 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 Try it. Try saying 你好吗, producing the tones as close to how I've said them as possible. Now you're going to learn one more word, and that word is I. 我 我 我 我. What tone am I applying to 我? If you said third tone, you're right. All the words I've taught you so far, except for ma, have third tone applied to them. So you're getting a lot of practice using third tone. 你好我. All of these have the same tone, and each tone is reproduced the same each time. You're almost ready to say, I'm fine. You just need to learn one more word. 很 很 很 很. This is a very productive word to know, because now you can say, I'm good, or I'm fine. 我很好 我很好. Don't worry about what the words mean exactly. You're going to try to create meaning for yourself. 你好吗? 我很好谢谢. 你好吗? 我很好谢谢. So now you can reply to someone if someone asks how you are. Let's go over the basic conversation again. 你好你好你好吗? 我很好谢谢. 你好你好你好吗? 我很好谢谢. There's a way to complete this conversation, and all you need to do is learn two new words. Na, 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 and yeah, 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 yeah. For these words, I'm not going to tell you what their meanings are, only how they're used. Let's observe how they're used in the following complete conversation. 你好你好你好吗? 我很好你呢? 我也很好谢谢. Notice how I've used those two new words I taught you. Also, what do you think 谢谢 means? Let's go over the conversation again and see if you can figure out what the meanings of all the words are on your own terms. 你好，你好，你好吗？我很好，你呢？我也很好，谢谢。Let's go over the words we've learned. 你好，我吗吗吗吗很很很很呢呢呢呢谢谢谢谢谢谢 Now you know how to say quite a few things in Mandarin. Try experimenting with the words I've taught you today. In subsequent lessons, you'll learn how to use more complicated forms of speech and also improve your method of reproducing the tones. Thanks for watching, and I would appreciate any comments you can offer. Hopefully I'll come up with a name for this teaching method soon.